Well, I might be mildly deaf now, but apparently we are back, as I'm sure you all did just hear, into match week 10. Getting ready for game 2 out of 3. The first game was a little bit of an upset, I guess, at least to your guys' opinion, as you all did vote for Wombats on tanks. It was actually Tornado Rocks to pick it up. But now we have some more challenges to the throne, at least, is Kazna up against DiNG. Now, these two, a little bit of a different beast here. Maybe not expected to be first. Maybe, I guess, Kazna, you could argue, could be. But they've slumped a little. At least one of these two has.
Yeah, I mean, DiNG at the beginning of the season wasn't particularly great. They started getting better. And Kazna at the beginning of the season was kind of the polar opposite. They were very good, amazing results. And then they were first. And then at the season, halfway mark at the Christmas time, they started falling off and they lost against Oops. You know, they had some real issues there, lost against Synergy. So, I mean, for Kazna, it's like, again, you know, they always have this part in the season where they seem to do really poorly. Always after some sort of break or whatever, something's happened. And, you know, it's a shame because they were easily leading the season. You know, if they had just won those 2 games, they would be in first place with 17 points right now. So I think for DiNG, they've got 19 points. They're 2 ahead. Yep. DiNG can pretty much be safe in the knowledge that they'll at least be top 6. Kazna is still in that danger zone where Synergy could take them over. And Utopia as well. Well, Utopia are in 6th at the moment. So, I mean, they're the ones who are fighting in this match. They're the ones who really need the 3 points. Yeah, so as soon as the teams are ready, we're going to get this one started up. But you guys at home need to get your predictions through to us and let your thoughts be heard. And the woman who can tell you exactly how to do that is Melly.
Absolutely. It's very simple, actually. You simply have to head over to facebook.com/WGLEU. Of course, liking our page is not necessary, but very welcome. So just give us a like so we can actually keep you updated about the happenings in our Wall of Tanks universe regarding the Wargaming.net League, of course. And by clicking on the first link on our timeline in the very first posting, you'll directly get forward to our voting app where you simply have to choose your favorite team, predict the exact scoreline, and then send it off, hope for the best, because if you're one of the 3 fastest correct predictors, you might win a bonus code containing a premium tag, some gold, some premium, and of course a garage slot. And also we love reading from you, so head over to Twitter and use the hashtag WGLEU to tweet us, because then you make sure that I can actually see your tweets and other tankies as well. And if you want to rewatch the VODs from our past match days, head over to youtube.com/WGLEU. Of course, subscribe to our channel to get a notification as soon as we upload new video content. And then after this show, of course, you can rewatch all the VODs we ever produced, kind of.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot in there, so you'll be kept busy for quite some time. I don't think anyone's going to be able to watch all of those through in any short amount of time. So, guys, if you do have some spare time on your hands, do make sure you check that out. You can see a lot of history between these teams. And bringing it back to Kazna, I don't know what to say. These guys broke my heart last time I watched them.
They've got something to say, haven't they?
I'd hope so.
They have.
Really?
Yeah, I think they've got the highlight videos, haven't they?
I'd hope so. We'll have to find out very, very soon if they do have that lined up, of course, and DiNG as well. A lot to be said between these two teams. Kazna normally give at least decent interviews, so maybe we'll actually hear something decent from them. So, guys, let's check out what they had to say.
Kazna Crew удивляет всех своими необычными тактиками, против которой нужен особый подход.
DiNG is another Russian team in the league, also experienced now, running for a 2nd or a 3rd season in the league. They have a couple of really good players. One of them is Meritorious, our ex-teammate, good friend of ours. It's going to be really, I think, emotional match and a good game.
An emotional match and a good game. Something we're all going to be hoping for here, I can imagine. And as you pointed out, ex-teammates actually having to face off in this one. And with so much on the line, there's a lot of pressure between these two teams.
Yeah, there's a lot. And I think at the beginning of the season, when these interviews were basically done, Kazna Crew, you could see the confidence in them was pretty high and DiNG wasn't so high. Now it's kind of reversed, where the confidence of Kazna Crew is slightly lower and the confidence of DiNG is slightly higher. So it might actually change some of their rhetoric going into this match if they could just do the interviews, half an hour ago. But we're ready to just jump straight in. There's no dilly-dallying here. It's going to be Steps, our first map. As you can see, lineups coming in very light indeed from DiNG, and the same goes for Kazna crew. And yeah, I mean, the biggest problem I've seen with Kazna crew in the last 2 or 3 matches is just inconsistent player skill. I mean, some of the damage has been really appalling. The tactics have been questionable. A little, just bad communication. I mean, really bad communication. They don't seem to be gelling well as a team. And now, I mean, they have to make that decision. Are we going to go to a season finals? Are we going to at least have a chance going to a season finals? Because if they don't, that'll be the second one in a row they've managed to miss. And with it, any chance of going to the grand finals, which of course will be happening in April. So it's going to be Kazna on the defensive side and DiNG on the attack, as DiNG just not wasting any time heading towards that left side.
Yeah, DiNG certainly have a plan in mind, as to Kazna. So hopefully both teams bringing their A game to the plate here, and they're well aware of the situation they're in. Kazna seemed a little bit hap-handed previously, as you said, with some personal issues coming through, or player individual skill issues really kind of being highlighted. Elian being one of those players who was really shying away from really the caliber I expect from him. But it seems like Kazna want to get off to a flying start, and Vetso eyeing up a couple of shots to begin with, but doesn't take any just yet, as the firing squad does do its job there. And Maraka going to be pinned down in a little bit of trouble in that 1390.
I'm not sure exactly if he was spotted, but the fact that Kazna was getting spotted was enough information. So, yeah, I mean, they got the damage done, and Murkar has to be careful. He's got to try and reverse back a bit and get away from that position. And DiNG's actually going to start heading around. They're going to try and come from a different angle. I mean, yeah, with such a light lineup, obviously the 2-cap's going to be very hard, and that's where Kazna crew are thinking we have to put most of our resources. They got the RU251 of Yizny near it just to spot in a kind of early warning situation if DiNG do push across. And yeah, I mean, a lot of tanks sitting back. Kazna have to make sure that DiNG aren't playing the old switcheroo, aren't switching themselves around the map, playing very aggressive. Playing without any information, kind of. So Yizny gets spotted. He does find Hulknik, and that's obviously going to have to cause Kazna to go to the right side. Now, will DiNG commit towards this right side? If they do, then Kazna will either have made the right decision to head over there or the wrong decision to head somewhere else and maybe get caught out.
Oh, here comes the big point of it all, isn't it? Have they made the right choice? Have they committed to the right side? So it does seem like, to at least a small degree of a couple of players, DiNG are putting presence towards the right side. The 251 in the hands of Yizny will be on the receiving end of a hell of a lot of damage if he does get caught out. First here, and there we have it. 2 shells back-to-back, make a third. Fourth is going to seal the deal as the International closes it down, and suddenly the alarm bells are going to be ringing.
That was horrific from Yizny, and I think we've seen a similar situation with him before in this one, just going too aggressive, getting caught out in that RU251, and yeah, I mean, that's a massive advantage now for DiNG. A tier 8 tank down, no one from Kazna crew even near that 2-cap, really. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, DiNG has got the next 2 or 3 minutes, or say 1.5, 2 minutes, just to set up towards that right side, get control of the cap, and play it down like that. But at least for the peaks right now, Stefan's doing a good job.
Yeah, Stefan doing well, and it's a long road to recovery for Kazna now, as they did lose out on a player essentially for very little. A lot of the spots coming out as well, Meritorious in the back lines there, and already doing some good little damage on the way through, keeping himself alive there in the 140. Into next getting tracked for a second. Stefan now going to be joining up, and this is good little damage to keep them back and keeping the information going. And at the moment, it looks like Kazna going for the full engage here, but Hyber taking more than maybe you'd want to.
I mean, why are they going to the lower ground? That's really risky. I mean, a lot of teams go on the higher ground, and they've taken a lot because of Mary's position. And at the end of the day, DiNG can just easily get some nice shots on as they go across.
And look at this, it's free damage, and they are just caught there staring up at the giants bearing down on them. That is DiNG, and this is literally like shooting fish in a barrel. How is Mary still alive? He is going absolutely ham right now, and he picks up Elian. He was one of the first tanks spotted when they made that play through the trenches, and now, piece by piece, Kazna are falling like flies, and this is a real upsetting sight.
Really terrible game, that one from Kazna crew. I mean, again, Yizny just, I don't know, going on some sort of scenic tour over that right side of the RU251. Kazna crew choosing the lower side, getting spotted, obviously. Meritorious higher ground. I mean, the Object 140 was hold down. It's going to take a long time for Kazna crew to take him down. And I mean, that's the worst possible start from Kazna crew you could ever think. I mean, Kazna's one of those teams that need to get that first round in the bag to actually get themselves off onto the right foot. And that wasn't the right foot. That was no foot at all. That was good start onto Murakar with the AMX 1390. Yizny going on some sort of weird route, maybe expecting DiNG to re-rotate back around to where they were. But either way, that's risking too much for not that much information. He could have stayed in that bush and just got the initial spots anyway. And then you lost the RE251, and then most teams at that point will try and circle around the team, in the cap, or they'll just stay in that position until the team just start capping. No one in their right minds goes down that lower road, because it's a pretty normal position to have an Object 140, T62A, even an SDB in that position, which Meritorious was. And I mean, you can't win at that point, basically.
So thinking about this logically, even after losing one tank, Yizny falls, the rest of them just kind of accepted their fate in regards to that, which is not the Kazna that I remember. These are the guys that would fight tooth and nail for every advantage that they could claim, and it's a little bit surprising. But now looking at this very clear picture, Next is the only one who made an impression, but it didn't really make much odds.
No, I mean 6 out of 7 players on the first board basically going towards DiNG. Easy stuff. I mean, really nothing to talk about in this match at all. In that round at all. Now we're going to be going on to the next round. Kazna Crew obviously on the attack on steps.
Yep.
Perhaps the slightly easier side on this map. DiNG on the defensive side, and yeah, I mean, again, once Yizny had fallen, nothing really to talk about. Pretty poor performance from Kazna Crew, and they have put Eurofish in the artillery, the Lorraine, and in his previous season 1, he was an absolute beast in that vehicle, but this season been a bit lackluster, and DiNG have been an unstoppable force. I would say every single player is playing decently, maybe International falling behind in some respects, but they've just been on point. And considering Kazna won 5-0 last time they went up against each other, it doesn't look like it's going to be the same affair.
What a different team we're seeing now as well. What an absolute different picture to what we previously saw. The team that was, tipped to be at the very top, and now maybe not quite the case. But still, let's keep our eyes in this game, see if they can recover here, as you'd assume that they could maybe bring it to a 1-1. And again, Kazna on the attack, of course, heading out towards the western side here. And DiNG in the north, or slightly northeast, heading further towards the north, taking over the train tracks and getting early presence. And actually, they can get a good face full. Oh, a little bit of a stack here.
Yeah, Leopard getting boosted up there. Stefan actually finds International, and he doesn't get spotted himself, so good stuff there. But DiNG might have an idea of where Kazna Crew is. So Stefan's going to be trying to proxy spot, and International has to be careful because he's been continually lit up, and Stefan's going to have great side shots on if DiNG goes too aggressive here. Kazna Crew needs to get back into some sort of position where they can just shoot them as DiNG go forwards, and make sure Eurofish can get the damage done when necessary.
I'm worried they're going to just stay out a little too long here, but the artillery is going to come into play pretty soon. As you noted, Eurofish being the man at the helm in that one, but so far it's like DiNG are backing away relatively, maybe slightly in this one, just trying to find a little bit of respite here, as they did realise actually there's a lot of Kazna players as Eurofish waiting on that shell to become available.
Unbelievable how far Eurofish is actually in terms of going forwards there. He's so close to the DiNG players, it's really easy to make that shot. And yeah, Shockish has lost his driver. I think he had double repair there. Not sure exactly. No, he still hasn't used his repair kit, isn't moving forwards. Yeah, he's not repair, sorry. He hasn't got his first aid kit. He's got rations and the auto fire extinguisher and premium repair kit. So yeah, I mean, that's a big blow. Shockish has got his driver down. It's a Russian tank. He's going to be pretty slow. He's basically going to be heavy now, basically half the speed he would normally have. And DiNG will now have to try and limp their way back towards that right side. Again, the initial engagement from Kazna Crew is correct. Just as they did against Murakar, with some good early damage, good spots, they do in this round against Shockish, Hulknik, and Rulzik. Now it's on Kazna Crew. I mean, the onus is on Kazna Crew. Are they a team who can actually win a finals? Again, are they a team who can actually make their way back into matches? They really need to start stepping up as they do start rotating towards the right.
Yeah, as DiNG, my eyes are on them right now. Can they actually deal with Kazna, bringing maybe a bit more of a well-rounded game? And I'm hoping from Kazna they can actually provide that, because as you said, it's been a little bit lackluster, especially leading up to this, but a good start here, as noted. Shockish, Rules, and Hulknik both taking a lot of damage, for very little to come back, as it is Vetso to go hunting, and he's got to be careful here. Yeah,
he has to be really careful, but actually Kazna have played this correctly. DiNG is basically committed towards that right side way too much at the beginning. Ooh, but Vetso's got to be very careful. Once again, gets caught out on his own, way too aggressive at the start, and he's almost certainly going to be a sitting duck, and he will go down at some point in time as Kazna crew just screw the pooch once again, and Murakar will be able to find this last shot, no problem at all. Vetzer not even doing any damage, and it's going to be a bat shot for absolutely nothing, and Kazna crew have lost to tier 10.
How can he be so lackluster? Vetzer was one of the stars of this team. You know, it's easy to overlook him when you're in regard to Elian and such, but he was a phenomenal player. But just committing wildly like that is definitely not to his character, or at least, you know, to what I held him as. But still, tank to the advantage now. DiNG, all that initial damage that came towards him kind of just is negated.
I have no idea what they were doing then. I mean, okay, maybe DiNG were a little bit more aggressive than usual down towards the south, but I mean, not that much more aggressive than most teams. I guess, I mean, if you get the timing wrong slightly, you're going to die. But I mean, this is not a random battle. You don't get the timing wrong when you're a top level player. You know that the bat shot's slow off the mark. It only gets going when you've had 10 or 15 seconds of pressing that R key or W. So yeah, I mean, that was just unnecessary. He tried to get some damage against Murakar. Murakar hit all the shells, Vetzer hit nothing. And he had a lot of the tanks in support. And then I thought that, you know, Kazna crew would just go straight into that cap and just sit there to try and put some pressure onto DiNG to force them to make the next move and make the next mistake. But they didn't. They just slowly meandered their way up north and set up for a normal defensive position. Didn't try and get any advantage. And probably will just try a standard cap at this point.
We'll see how that one goes. I'm not sure if it's the best of options available, but then again, you know, what do you have left to work with here? Considering there's already southern control into the hands of DiNG, which can be such a pivotal position for those decaps, for that crossfire. Eurofish being relatively quiet as well, really not having the big impact that I'd maybe have wanted, and to be fair, that cap is not going to be the easiest thing for them to really pull through.
Yeah, some blind shots going towards them, and they've lost a lot of time here. You got 4.5 minutes left to try and cap this one out. It takes 120 seconds with one tank in the cap, so it's a long time, and he does get reset immediately. Some blind shots, easy as you like. You can only be in so many positions in that cap. And Kazna crew now 2,000 hit points behind, basically. Ooh, nice little shell, but I mean, Eurofish has been an absolute beast, hitting Shockish. He has to use his repair kit there. That was a blind shot. And I mean, you can't ask more from Eurofish. He's hitting the damage, easy as you like, no problems at all. But still, Vetzer's down. They've lost some HP. The cap is always going to be a problem. So I mean, we've seen bigger comebacks at this point. We've seen plenty of teams actually come back from losing a tier 10, but it's going to be hard for Kazna crew. They really need to keep their cool. Eurofish needs to hit all the rest of the shells he has, and whenever DiNG comes from, Kazna needs to reply him. Murakar gets lucky, doesn't get spotted, as another shell comes out from Eurofish.
Close as well, but Stefan being caught there as well. Still a bit of a 1-for-1 trade out. Not too much, though, between either side here. Overall, of course, DiNG do have the upper hand of player and HP, but that cap is getting down to 20 seconds, so will force the hand, and you can see the two tanks heading straight up the middle of this. The Bat Chat's in the background with the STB1 and the 251s. 9 seconds left. It's a good commitment. It will give them the time to land these shots. Rawls is the man on the front lines, and he's going to get it. There we go. Lovely little 1-2 combo. And Eurofish gets pretty much destroyed.
Yeah, Kazna don't get quite the timing right, but they are behind that cap, so it's still on, but no, that's the second reset in, and Kazna crew are now way behind in terms of HP. They're in the worst positions. The timing wasn't right.
It's sadly not. The Lorraine went down for, I guess, cover to provide something to those three tanks behind, but it doesn't pay off. The timing, as you noted, was not right, and the damage is starting to pile up against Kazna. Stefan going low. Another piece just falling into the pockets of DiNG. As well, a little bit of a reinsurgency comes out, but it's not enough to turn it in anyone's favor other than DiNG's, as they have every single player alive.
Yeah, this is game over again. This is going to be a 2-0 on steps for DiNG. Quite easy, I must admit. I mean, obviously, DiNG, the better team on this map. Kaza's never been particularly good on steps, but not a good performance from this team at all. Very obvious mistakes, as Hyber's going to fall in that Object 140 last. And as I said, 2-0 going towards DiNG at that point. I mean, that was just a timing issue. Kazna had one tank in the cap, they got it fairly low, and then they put 3 or 4 tanks in with that Lorraine in that position. If there was even one reset came in, it was going to be the win there for DiNG. So maybe if Kazna had done that, let's say 5 to 6 seconds earlier, and they were in there for like 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, it would have been a game towards Kazna crew, but they just did it too late. And yeah, I mean, as soon as they went into, put all their resources into that position, that was going to be game over. They got the resets in. Obviously, there was a mistake there at the beginning from Vetzer in the batch, and that's 2 for 2 in terms of individual mistakes.
Yeah.
Losing that RU251 in the first round, losing the batch in the second round doesn't help you in those positions where the other team is coming in and you've got to actually try and stave them off a bit.
And it's not players like Vetso to make those mistakes. Normally he is actually quite a consistent player. And, you know, when Elian was the one making the errors, I was like, okay, it's Elian. Sometimes you do have to gamble a lot to be able to get those big rewards. But Vetso normally isn't that player, so being caught out like that, real shame. But you guys at home, of course, have been getting vocal, as you can see, as these two teams are quite fan favourites to a degree. Of course, it is predominantly Kazna who are at the helm there. But look at the damage so far. Anything standing out to you at all?
No, not really. I mean, again, it's the same as the previous round. Kazna got the early damage with good shells onto Shockish, some more damage going across to DiNG, and then they made a massive mistake. They got the timing right. I mean, the timing thing is, you know, kind of subjective. You don't really know if you're going to win that gamble at the end of the day. You can kind of guess, okay, we got the cap down to X, Y, and Z. So maybe like 20. So the other team is going to be, you know, maybe like 300, 400 meters away because they need to get the reset at some point in time. So, yeah, not good at all. 2-0 on steps. Kazna really needs to start to crank up those gears at the moment. They're in reverse. And, mine's next.
Yeah, mine's coming in. A big map here. Now, Kazna have had some real fortune on this and also some atrocious errors, bearing in mind they've suffered quite heavily some losses onto this map. But artillery play coming out, not too surprising, to be honest. But I want to see if Kazna can recover here. You don't want to give DiNG even a chance at building themselves back into this one and getting even further an advantage into this matchup. But it's not like they're poor on this map either. But you'd certainly say Kazna have a real home here normally, if to their normal standard.
Yeah, triple 113 from DiNG. That's something we saw already work well for Wombats. And the FE215B, double T110E5, and double TVP. I'd actually say Kazna's lineup is quite a counter towards the 113s. T110E5 is the better hull down tank, and the FE215B, you know, great at DPM, can out DPM the 113 every day of the week. Plus the artillery pieces against those slower, bigger, heavier HP. Tanks are the 113. So a bit of an exchange at the beginning, not really that much done. Of course, DiNG have the 2 T10, so they want to be trying to get control that way. And the artillery piece as well. I think Eurofish needs to hit the shell against Rulezek. He does.
Well done. Already a good start, Eurofish. This guy, he's looking consistent, which is something that I thoroughly am impressed with.
But Kazna, again, they've good start. But, I mean, what are they going to do with it now? I mean, really.
Oh, that's the next big thing, isn't it? What can they do? Because every single time they've had a good start, they've got some good damage done, and then it just kind of crumbles into absolutely nothing. So we're all looking at the next move on the chessboard here.
Exactly. It's all Diplomat and Holtnik coming from behind. They're trying to go for the extra counter artillery, and Yizni's going to go down maybe.
This could be beautiful, actually. Let's see how much they can get done here. But the firefight suddenly comes in. Diplomat's still alive. Holtnik gets a little bit more than he'd hoped for. Stefan in the back lines there does enough as... Well, it does as much as he could, but the battle was certainly not being won elsewhere on the map for DiNG.
No, definitely not. Well, to be honest, Hyber's now a one-shot. International Shockish should be able to find him no problem at all. First one does bounce. Nexus and Vetso starting to go forwards, and I think Kazna realised that they actually have to be aggressive if they want to try and win this match.
They need to close this out, and they can do. That's the thing. They're going to trade on the kills here in the centre of this map, by that mine, by the hill. And Mr. Maraka is going to have to come up with the goods now. He's there with International. Nexus is being pincered in, but Kazna are holding so many cards at this point. They have 5.8k HP. Nexus will probably fall, but I just don't see this being turned in favour of DiNG unless there's some atrocious mistakes.
Yeah, and Stefan is actually going to come off reload. That's a big player there. And Elian is doing a great job. Stefan has no problem finding that one-shot T10. Holtnik's coming from the side, but he gets spotted easily, and Elian is just going to be able to pound down Diplomat, finds him easily, and yeah, I mean, Holtnik doing as much as he can. He's been the best player by far for DiNG in the last 2 seasons, and he's the second highest damage dealer, if not the highest damage dealer in the Wargaming League Europe right now. So it's 4 versus 2 international, still with a full HP in that 113. Holtnik trying to creep around, be a little bit of a lurker, but yeah, I mean, this should be done and dusted. Kazna crew just, again, perfect lineup to try and counter DiNG with the artillery piece as well. And the 113's not effective against the T110E5s particularly. And that TVP push from the back was pretty obvious and kind of countered out by Stefan. And to be fair, they're getting themselves back into this game. Eurofish missed that shell. Vetso is actually on reload, and Elian is nowhere to be found right now.
This can't happen. This surely can't happen. It shouldn't happen. And Elian finally comes in and does kind of keep that HP really quite far down. 2 shells left on him. Eurofish is still in this, of course, in the back lines, but his presence is going to be duly noted. There we go. Eurofish has actually gone down now into a 2v2. HP is favourable to Kazna. They have decent positions, and Vetso does get a very important shot there, taking another piece of HP away from the International. However, International has a shell lined up here, and Holnick shouldn't allow this to become a 2v1. International should have some cover on this.
I mean, the fact that DiNG has gotten back into this match is unbelievable. Elian only has one shell left. He does find it. That's actually Vetso. And DiNG, you know, fantastic individual plays, brings it back almost to Kazna with just 1.3k HP. And you can see at that later stage, the artillery in close proximity starts to become a bit of a disadvantage when you're playing against a team that's gone very aggressive at some point in the round. But yeah, I mean, Kazna almost throws it, but they do get it done in the end. As I said, double T110, very nice counter towards those 113s. They can go hold down the hill, they can shoot through that rock. Very easy. They had the artillery in the background. Elian as well with good peaks from the side in that batch had to shoot those 113s. Just started to lose HP. Diplomat trying to come from behind with Holtnik in the TVPs. Stefan was on the hill as he always is in this match on the attacking side, and they just received too much damage. And there was a point where Kazna were reloading, or their autoloads were reloading, but yeah, they managed to get that reload and start the win to win the game. So I mean, Kazna on their map they're comfortable, and they are back into this game 2-1 after a very terrible steps. You can see International, that last man alive, is really having to step up for his team. Elian and Vetso having a blast of a round as well with 3.2k, 3.4k apiece. And Nex as well on that T125 just screwing those 113. So Kazna back in. They have to play on the easier side now, I reckon, on this one. And yeah.
I'm expecting Kazna to step up now. This is you know the small opening, a little bit of an open door for them to start walking through and actually get this win under their belt, because it's something that they need at this point. They've been very, very lackluster until maybe, not too long ago, actually, to be fair. They've been pretty lackluster throughout this kind of mid to late season, which is something that isn't normally what I'd associate with them. But then again, they do this actually quite a lot. It's not the first time in a season they've had this slump. So hopefully for them, being on mines will rekindle a little of what can make them good in this, get them back on that confidence level, and get it at 2-2. If it goes 3-1, then ball's pretty much in DiNG's court, and God knows where they're going to return that serve to.
Exactly, that's the biggest point here. I mean, DiNG is the team which has not done well. They've obviously been training a lot. They've got the passion right now, and Kazna is that team which has done very well for a very long time, been that top European team, and maybe have lost some of that fire towards that Christmas break, perhaps, and that's definitely caused some issues. But I mean, yeah, I mean, for Kazna, there's so much time. They've got so many opportunities in World Tank, still so many titles they can still win. The grand finals, they came fourth. You know, they should have came at least top 2 in that one, losing to EL Gaming. You know, they just need to get that ability back to play under pressure, as they are creeping into this game again. You can see Eurofish playing with the artillery piece. Murakar getting blind shot at the beginning. Good damage, because that's obviously Ealing got spotted, and another shell comes in. Murakar might actually fall. He goes down to 1 shot, has to be very careful. And again, you know, Kazna with this initial play being able to do great damage. Spots, no problem at all. But they have to hang on to this advantage.
And it's so impressive that, you know, impressive and also worrying, I guess. That's, you know, both sides of the coin. But to start with, the impressive part is that they can find these advantages so consistently, no matter what map they're on. And they do it in such just beautifully elegant ways, whether it's with blind shots, whether it's with knowing the opponents. We are going to see a little bit of a counterplay here coming out, or at least a counter stack, boosting up on towards the hill from the more northeastern side. I think that's Diplomat.
Been a long time since we've seen this.
Yeah, this is going back to the old season.
Season 4, I think. And we haven't seen this one in ages. This might actually catch Kazna out. Obviously, Kazna hasn't gone for the hill, but I'm not exactly sure what this is going to achieve, because Kazna are playing defensively, so ultimately DiNG can get the hill regardless. And I think Diplomat is up now, I'm not sure.
Just...
Yeah, I think he's up. So, I mean, this is going to cost DiNG some time, and still isn't quite up. It's definitely a tricky boost, one of the harder boosts to make. But yeah, they're going to get the hill. Kansas playing defensively, and to be honest, this defensive tactic they've used and other teams have used in the past has been very effective. It's so hard to take down. The interesting variation here for Kansas is they got the TVP on the right side in G8, T125 in H7, H8. A lot of teams just put like a Waffentrag down into K9, and still Diplomat is not on that hill.
What is that camera doing?
Now he is.
If you want to make me feel more nauseous, that's how you do it. Alex, if you want to cast, you're on track right now. Just a heads up, guys, I am not feeling so good. You may have noted by now that Ollie's doing more of this, so
Lauren
do
and
give him
Melly
some love.
are feeling the last 2 weeks of rain in Cologne.
I'm blaming Taipei for
Taipei
this.
blues.
I've picked up some weird bugs by, people coughing on public transport because, I hate human beings by that point in my
Yeah.
life. It's
I don't take public transport. I drive or I just cycle.
I hate it. I just hate it. Anyway, back to the game. As said, we do have that TVP in a bit of a advanced position that may they not have noted by now. But guys, back on the topic of me being ill, do make sure you give Ollie the credit for today. He's working like an absolute champion, and give Alex all the abuse to the Observer for making me want to throw up more. So, looking at this, Melly, that was a very feminine laugh in the background there. Har, 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 har. So delightful. You guys don't realize how delightful Melly is off camera. She's beautiful. Oh, the cough's coming out now. We are having a relatively slowish match. They are just trying to take the control here, and as you can see, my brain is not exactly switched to what it should be at times. Yeah, you'd be sad.
Ooh, Nexus peeking. That could have been risky. If he got spotted in that situation, he might be bad news because he's in an unusual position. That T-57 heavy, the bigger tank, more HP, and definitely a good one. We'll have to see exactly how it works out. But yeah, I think DiNG need to start to think about what they want to do. Classic move is pushing over towards that right side. Looking at their lineup, they're pretty heavy. I mean, the left side is not going to be an option for DiNG. Helian's starting, and Stefan actually starting to head towards that left side. That's going to be interesting if they can actually make that work for them. I mean, Kazna don't need to do anything right now, so they could be the throw, but Elian feels comfortable that he can go forwards. Hultnik's there in the side, Merkar there in the background, and B3. And slowly but surely, DiNG starting to get itchy fingers. I want to start pressing those W keys and heading into a position here, but Elian is just in an unusual position. He does get spotted. He has to be careful that he doesn't get side shots, and he's going to have to scamper away. First shell does come out. That's from Hultnik. 299 damage, about 31 less than the average. So Elian will get away with this position. Does get some spots via Hyber. And I mean, that's just caused DiNG like another 30 seconds, 45 seconds of having to reset. So it actually worked out well for Kazna crew in terms of the time they expended.
Yeah, just buying a little bit of time. Nothing too phenomenal just yet, but as you said, it's down to DiNG to make the moves. They're the ones who have everything to play for here and everything to do. Whereas Kazna have been pretty prolific at getting that initial damage, so maybe being a little bit cautious, not allowing them to make too much of that. But by now, we're down to the 4 minutes and 48 seconds marker. They have got hill control, DiNG. But then again, you said Kazna are bringing in this very passive approach where they play this very much defensive line throughout the map. And it is quite, it's been working so far. Generally, we see teams trying to head down towards, the lighthouse and heading across, trying to get some control there and work off the back of it with a nice little split. But DiNG aren't seemingly doing any of that.
Yeah, they are struggling. I think they're struggling with Hyber, right? I mean, Hyber with the artillery in the setup is just really hard to take down. So if DiNG had artillery piece, Hyber would, and this game would have almost certainly been DiNG's, like if this position had came out. But they are starting to move around. Actually, they're doing some damage. Some damage is finally going towards Hyber, but they're definitely receiving more than they're taking. Stefan with that 310 penetration, struggling to go through the side of the International in the T110E5. But still, I mean, it was a move, and it expended some shells for Stefan, it expended some shells from Elian, and maybe now DiNG are starting to go and commit to a right side push.
Yeah, 3 tanks heading that way. I believe the TVP is joined by an Object 140, so not exactly a light investment. They actually have quite a few tanks there, but there are some waiting in that kind of small village just slightly further south, just beyond that 1 cap. That's certainly not a preferable marker, but Elian's still very cautious over on that western side, and as we can see, that's not where the attack's coming from. It will be from Shockish Diplomat and Hulknik.
Oh, this is going to be really interesting how this one works. Nexus is in such an unusual position. Will he know? He actually gets spotted. Nexus might just be able to crunch one of these tanks down. So much damage going towards Shockish, more going towards Nexus. He has to try and reverse back, but he'll probably find Shockish, which is all he has to do as the T110 there in the background providing support.
Yeah, great 1-for-1 trade working out nicely for Kazna, as long as they can keep their foot really down on towards DiNG, as so far DiNG are actually making their way up the hill pretty well. Yesny just getting a little bit crossed off there by Hulknik. Now the swing out does happen. Elian's been kind of ignored here, but he has found an angle towards Meritorious. Good bit of damage coming in for absolutely free. No one's there to pressure him. That T-54 is coming in, but by now it might be a little too late.
Yeah, the T110 of E5 of Yizny really wasn't playing particularly well. Vetsa's got to try and pick up the pieces. There's also artillery piece there for Eurofish. Maybe he's just going to try and suicide. Yizny just receiving so much damage that T110 E5 cannot sustain. He is going to go down, but the 1-for-1 trade comes out for Kazna crew. They're still ahead in this game. It's Elian on the side as a lurker in that bat chat, just fighting Meritorious, but it wasn't a high roll. He doesn't manage to take him down. He's on a one-shot now. Elian has 30 seconds to reload, and that's the opportunity for DiNG to go in to try and finish this game off. They are ahead slightly in terms of the positions and the reloads with the Object 140s. As Vetso's going to come off, he might fall on the next shot. He doesn't.
Just about holding on to it. And I was about to say, if Mary did any damage, you know Elian would be kicking himself about that one. But Holtnik finally takes down Vetso. So trading out pretty effectively so far. But and again, as you said, positioning comes into this. HP now mildly, marginally favouring DiNG as Holtnik pushes his way up, but time is into the pockets of Kazna. They just need to play to it. They need to be smart about this. That batch out of Elian, try to win out on that Western battle as well. Make sure they win that getaway out, and actually a little bit of damage even coming out from Eurofish. He will fall, but now down to a 3v3. The tanks in the north might consider start making a run for it soon. Try to play that time as best they can. 3 shells going to be coming out towards Diplomat there. Oh, excuse me, from Diplomat there towards Stefan. But this is going to be down to the wire.
I mean, Hyber's really got to play the game well because he's going to be the centerpiece for Kazna crew. He needs to stay alive. Elian's on reload. You can see there about 25 seconds left on that one. Holtnik going to try and collapse around with International and Diplomat, who's on top of the hill. And I'm not sure. I think International and Hyber could easily have a one-on-one exchange, and I'm not sure who's going to win that one. But, I mean, yeah, you're right. 100% are down to that clock. It's only a minute left for DiNG to either kill all 3 tanks of Kazna crew or cap, which is probably unrealistic right now.
All right, here we go. So the bait on the first shot. Holtnik buys the time and takes a shot towards Stefan. Gets it scot-free. However, Diplomat suffers off the back of this. He's now down to a 1-shot. Another shot from Holtnik. Needs to be cautious now, though, as shells are already. And Elian's already found Diplomat. It's just down to Holtnik now. He needs to do the damage and fast, and he's running out of time. International's taking a fight, though, and look how low Kazna is going. Suddenly, this 1v2 is looking good. And Elian is on the run. He's got 30 seconds to stave off the wolves, but he knows he's got a tough task ahead of him, but he should maybe just about to get away from this.
Yeah, he can get away. He's faster than the Object 140. He's way faster than International T110 E5. He's got good camo rating in that bat chat. No problem at all for Elian to run away for the next 10 seconds. I mean, that was one hell of a game from DiNG, by the way. Just unbelievable individual play. Kazna crew having such a big early advantage, but they are on the defensive side. 3 seconds left until they get the win as that 10-minute counter goes down to 0, and it's going to be 2-all. Unbelievable. 2 times tonight already. We've had a team winning 2 on the first map, and then the other team comes back to win 2 on the second map, obviously on their favorites. It's going to be 2 apiece.
Yeah, a surprising day all round, to be fair. I'm kind of enjoying it, aside from, you know, being nauseous. That part.
Apart from wanting to throw up.
Yeah, it's more the passing out stuff when I get excited. It's like, oh, how am I going to go? If I do pass out, though, guys, make sure to get gifts of it, because that'll make me famous on the internet.
Dank memes, that's what we want. If you're going to pass out, get some dank memes.
Any medically trained people here, or am I just kind of just be hoping
I think you're asking for the wrong people here, Laura. We're in esports.
God.
My mum's a doctor, but
Sweet.
she tried to teach me, get me into medicine. I was like, nah, it's not happening. I want to be in video
Alex
games.
apparently is too as well. Fantastic.
So
I don't know if
we
I'd
have
trust
Gypsy
Alex.
Gypsy medicine doesn't count.
Yeah, he just comes out with a pot of like these kind of, you know, crazy things. You know what I mean? It's like Harry Potter's wizardry, just Wingardium Leviosa.
I'd
Yeah.
probably like maybe try and get like a rat or something, and you gotta try and pour
This is mildly racist.
your
I'm not
medicine
even
in the rat.
enjoying
Like
this.
I've seen that before.
I just put the
racist.
medicine in a rat.
I've seen a documentary about
careful as
with
A
half
gypsies.
German.
documentary.
Yeah.
Oh God, where did you find this
You
peach?
transfer all your ill comings into a small rodent, like a bandicoot or something.
Actually, there was a TV show with that in it, with a baby child that they put into a river. And it was like this TV show like back when...
Is that just a video you took on Friday night or something?
I don't play down by the river, Oliver. I don't leave the house. We know that by now. But no, it was like this pagan thing they used to do as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fun times. There you
No,
go.
we joke, of course.
We do?
Do we? No, I'm not sure.
I don't know. Ollie is actually just racist. It's actually terrifying.
Yeah, totally.
It's really, really quite awkward.
Yeah.
But your problems aside, we're working on it, guys. Do not fear. Melly, how are the people out there doing? Are they how are they doing with these votes? Like, how's everyone doing? Because I'm not doing good, so I want to know about you guys.
I'm
Cheer
not
me up.
doing good either.
Help me.
But yes, just tell us how you're doing. Use the hashtag WGLEU. How you doing on Twitter, and of course follow us at WGLEU as well for live updates. So if you have to leave your computer for the third match of the night, sadly, we will still keep you updated. So make sure following that account. It's a pretty good idea. Also, we share announcement from teams, giveaways from teams, contests from teams,
And
of
if I
course
pass out.
own contest, and you will definitely get a picture from me over on our WGLEU account when Lauren is lying on the ground passing out. But yes,
Thank you.
Also, the team vote has closed, of course, because we just finished the fourth round. It stopped at 61% for Kazna crew, so kind of even almost. A lot of 5-3 and 5-4 predictions as well. Again, like in the match before.
See, and the thing is that Kazna used to be the one to get a lot of votes, right? Because they had the big
Yes.
fan base. It
Yeah.
wasn't even like, okay, we think they'll win. It's like, we just want to support our,
Yeah,
our
yeah.
guys. Now we're like, well, if you guys aren't putting in the work, or, they get this mentality of, if you guys aren't trying your hardest, if you're not being Kazna crew, the guys that we love, then why would we give you the support? It feels like the community's kind of being like a little tentative
Yeah,
now
salty
these days.
fanboy syndrome. That's what I call it.
PJ Salt.
Exactly.
All right.
It's not
salty
mine.
fanboy
It's
syndrome.
Cliff next, but
We
lineup
like to lie to you.
lineups are right. Batchat, triple
The
Batchat.
judgment.
No, I'm just
Well,
not
at least the lineups are right.
and that's not what I meant.
Just
I
calling it
come
out.
across as sarcastic
Savage.
sometime when I don't mean to be.
This guy.
I love Henning. He's the best producer I've ever had, so he knows that. Yeah, Batchat's heading down towards the left side. I mean, an artillery piece from DiNG. So far, they've been trying to stay away from the artillery pieces, and so far, at least on steps, it worked. Mines, it didn't work well, to be honest. But see how it works out on this one. Obviously, artillery is not so easy to play on this map, as there's so many positions. Almost all the default positions on this one are safe from artillery fire, but perhaps predicting that Kazna wants to go left side with those 113s, and then you can get a nice straight line shot with the artillery pieces onto them. And I mean, this left side from Kazna at the beginning seems to be okay, but general we've seen it not working out too well. Elian going pretty aggressive down here. Hultnik though is on the side, and to be fair, if Elian just goes in, finds Hultnik, finds Diplomat, ooh, it could be dangerous.
This is what I wanted. This is where Elian can thrive, when he takes these chances, but doesn't get the initial shot he wants. He could place himself down here and keep those spots on consistently and be that real nuisance, that thorn in the side to DiNG, but by now that's already going to create so many problems.
Yeah, and Eurofish is boosted up quite far. You can see actually DiNG are starting to rotate. Some damage goes to Murakar. That's a huge amount. Don't know exactly how many shells came out, but one from Vetso, one from Nizhny, and one from Eurofish. So again, Kazna with the initial start they wanted, but things have slipped pretty far in a lot of these games, so they have to be careful that they can consistently do what they need to do. Elian's trying to boost his way up here. Oh, so close. I'm not sure if you can actually do that. I've never tried it, but at least he's failed this time around.
Tried so hard and he got so far, but
in
the end,
it doesn't really matter.
nailed it.
Nailed it. I tried to incorporate Elian's name in there somewhere. It didn't work out for me.
It's not really a name you can rhyme with much, is it?
No.
It's Elian. Guys, you can think of rhyming words as well. Hashtag WGLEU. I'm making you really bring the grade A analysis. Oh, he's taking a bigger run up this time.
He's found it.
Actually, nailed it.
Oh, he's found Diplomat as well.
Rip.
Oh my god. No one could do anything about Elian in this position.
Elian is such
but then
a pest.
But he peeked. He had no shells. He could have just peeked over and killed Diplomat, but then he might have got killed himself, so that was risky.
Kind of awkward.
But now they know where Diplomat is, and Elian is just...
Can he get an angle on this?
No, I mean, Nexus has to go forward, right, in that 113.
No, definitely
No one's
not.
aiming towards him.
No.
But still, I mean, Diplomat's now officially useless, and Hultnik's been continuously spotted. So the pressure is there from Kazna crew. The RU-251 in the background, again, another little peek. And I'm not sure exactly what they're going to do with this. I mean, again, no one can really shoot Diplomat because the hill area, the cliff area on D, the D line is slightly sloped upwards, so you have to kind of neck over it, or at least have a good hull down tank to be able to do that. But every time Elian peeks, there's a chance that he'll just peek all the way and kill Diplomat. So 390 average damage in that Batchat, 400 HP on Diplomat's tank. Obviously, we can say that Elian, in terms of the the likelihood is that it will take 2 shots to make. But yeah, Hyber's now starting to go forwards. Nexus there as well. Again, the pressure is there from Kazna crew. And Diplomat shoots. Oh, Vetso gets absolutely nailed there. He was spotted. What a brilliant shot there from Diplomat. That's brought them straight back into this game. Beautiful stuff.
That was stunning. Absolutely stunning. Now, sure, Diplomat's gone down, but to what cost here? Now, look at this Vetso, still alive just about, but the information is starting to pour through towards the rest of Kazna, who should be able to do the most of this and make a little bit more out of this. But then again, what are Hyber and Nexus up to? Just taking a lot of damage here.
International's in a great position, actually, on that position. You can actually boost your way up there, and Elian's starting to take down Haltnik because International's spotted. He's made all the shells. There's nothing really Haltnik can do in this position. He's down to a 1-shot, but he's not going to get taken down. Obviously, that 2,000 potential burst from the Batchat is not quite enough, and Nexus tries to go for the kill, doesn't manage it. International shoots his last shell though, and Nexus a 1-shot, Haltnik a 1-shot, but obviously Haltnik with that single shot tank, he can find Nexus, and that's going to bring DiNG firmly in the lead on this game, but Haltnik doesn't manage that last shell, and somehow Nexus stays alive.
I don't understand what is going on. How is Haltnik allowed to be the player to find Nexus? How are Kazna even letting a window of opportunity form for DiNG at the moment? They had such a great beginning, and now suddenly it's all going to absolute potters. Haltnik's there, just doing a little bit of work. No one can commit towards him just yet. He's utilizing his former teammate, I guess, as cover here, and I don't know what to say.
This is such a close game. Elian's got spotted, so he can't really peek over against Haltnik, because Meritorious is in the background and will be able to get some good damage. Hyber's kind of stuck in there. You can see DiNG are trying to come from a different angle with that Batchat down south, but you know, Vetso's lost so much HP. That's terrible stuff for him altogether. And it's actually going to be Shockish with the TVP with a great angle from the side. Because Vetso has received a lot of damage, there's no way he could really do anything in that position, and Eurofish is not going to be able to do all that much. Oh, he is actually, because Stefan's there.
Yeah, suddenly they find a bit of a combo. A little bit of crossfire came in, but still, this is on a knife's edge. This is a very hard one to call here, bearing in mind the time is against Kazna, not DiNG. But still, Rules looking for an opportunity here, maybe to try and weaken one of these crossfires and put them really to bed. And there we go, suddenly a little bit more fire comes in. He's now in a very strong position here. Could get the closer, doesn't need to. Shockish does it for him, lines up Vetso, takes him down, and then suddenly we're down to 2. Kazna again throwing these games, and I don't understand how this is happening time and time again. Credit to DiNG for making the most of these opportunities, but surely these two shouldn't be able to pull this one off.
Unbelievable. I mean, this was almost Kazna's game, so close, but yeah, I think, you know, Vetso getting that damage, I mean, that was the biggest point, right? I mean, even though Diplomat stayed alive, he did, even though he went down, he stayed alive for long enough to actually get that 1-shot onto Vetso. As soon as he was spotted, that straight line shot straight onto him, that basically negated Vetso, because he couldn't be in a position where he was like actually aggressive, stopping Haltnik, stopping Shockish from coming around the corner on the TVP. International boost up onto that hill, good place to counter the 113s. But I think ultimately the biggest point was that Haltnik stayed alive, right? I mean, Elian had an opportunity to kill him. I didn't see exactly how many shells he had, but Haltnik's just staying alive, doing great little hip shots against the 113s. Elian getting taken down by Shockish. Perfect stuff. Great shot by Diplomat onto Vetso, just keeping him at bay. And yeah, I mean, the ultimate thing for Kazna is that they wanted to go around, pressure onto Diplomat, which is good. 113s come around, kill Diplomat. Elian takes down Haltnik, and then they can move on through the game like that, you know, with positions on that left side. But didn't work out like that.
No, certainly didn't. And just, I don't know what to make of this. I feel as though, excuse me, half the time Kazna's just losing to themselves rather than losing to DiNG. DiNG are doing great, but you know, it's still Kazna. They're not meant to be the team that gives away this many opportunities and chances to turn it around. But we are just waiting on those final players to rejoin us to get this one started back up for that second half. And I can see the PJ Salt is being, you know, spilt in chat.
Yeah, I mean, right now, I think right now, I mean, 3-2, right? So Kazna crew needs to win the next 3 rounds. Simple as that. They don't want to get the 2 points all at 1 point. They need the 3 points. DiNG have basically got a top 6 position. Kazna crew haven't. So the 3 rounds need to be going towards them. And they can't let DiNG win any single one. And I felt like the first 2 on steps were terrible. Then we had 2 good ones on cliff. DiNG playing swell on that last round, but just getting outplayed a little bit. Yeah. And that last round, you know, so close to coming in. And then DiNG with a perfect position on international, perfect push from Shockish. So, yeah, I mean, this is a knife's edge for Kazna crew. They are so close to basically bowing out of a position where they can, guarantee themselves as a top 6.
Yeah, they really need the 3 points. One's just not going to cut it, really. They're around 17 points right now, which is actually quite a big drop already from 4th to 1st, where the cut point is with DiNG at 19. Now you remember the fact that we've already seen like Tornado Rocks and Wombats on tanks starting to build up points as well. You're going to see that gap getting bigger. So if Kazna don't get clean victories or
they got to play against Wombats next, so
they need a 3-pointer.
Yeah, I mean they could get 2 points here, 1 point there, or 3 points here, 3 points there. But at the end of the day, DiNG's qualified for a top 6 position. Kazna haven't, and Kazna, they're playing the better tanks when they put it all together. But when they don't, they are just playing worse. DiNG are playing really, really well at this point in time. And again, Kazna at the beginning of the game, they get everything they need. They get the early damage, early spots, early kills, everything you need. But this is 768. A couple of things can go wrong for you, and you can just negate all that very easily.
See, this is the thing I was saying on Mines. It's like there's two sides to the coin here. It's very impressive Kazna are able to do that with so much consistency. However, when they still lose the consistency, it becomes quite a worrying stat, actually, as to how well they do initially. But still, let's take stock of this. It looks like Kazna are going to go for that Russian original style of the Western approach here. And actually, we are seeing the Lorraine back out to play, so artillery again being picked up.
Yeah, Lorraine by Eurofish seems to be the popular demand on this map. Triple 113 is going towards the left side, though, as you said. And they are just pushing through the middle, so this is going to be interesting. T125 in a very unusual position. Shockish going forwards. Elian in the background, though. It's going to be interesting, and I think maybe DiNG committed a bit too far considering the 113s are here. First damage, again going the way of Kazna crew. Holtnik receiving one from Eurofish in the background in the artillery. But Elian hasn't played his card now, so, I mean, international Shockish can say, okay, we got spotted there by the Team 125. And Rulesek actually having a little bit of a go at Stefan, and I think Kazna will be worried about that push around the corner from DiNG, and it does look like they want to go for that because the T125's there. Maybe they guess the Batchat's also up north, and they're also safe from artillery until they push on to where Nexus currently is. So, I mean, this is a game of attrition right now. If Kazna get the right timing, it'll be their game. If they don't, it'll be DiNG's game. Obviously, the biggest problem for DiNG is that those two Batchats are basically stuck there, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, as Dip actually might get caught out pretty low. He just gets 2. That's a pretty bad shot, and so much damage going towards DiNG suddenly.
Yeah, Kazna really holding great positions at the moment in the good place, and, well, at the right time more than anything. Holtnik suffering a hell of a lot here at the hands of Elian, the player that people didn't notice was in place until right about now, where he's pounced towards Holtnik. And another shell does come in as well. And look at the damage that tank can achieve over such a small period of time as well. So Kazna sitting relatively pretty here. And really very little damage coming back towards Kazna.
Yeah, again, an early damage going so well towards Kazna crew. They've just done so much work at the beginning. Eurofish letting off another shell. Almost finds Rulesek, not quite. Rulesek playing that E50 perfectly. A very durable tank from behind. Of course, I think, the obvious move from Kazna crew right now will be to wait until Elian gets reload. Then they can find the back of Diplomat. They can find the back of International. They can send Yizny forwards with some support with the 113s. And just continue the pressure. Ricardo, he is playing the hill in the RU-251, and Yizny is starting to creep forwards. Nexus Vet Zone support with the two 113s. And Mokar, he's only going to be able to do so much damage, right? 250 per shot. He can't even find that shell onto the T125, and International looks like the next target. He takes the first one, a massive hit from those 113s, taken down, blasted off the map. More damage going towards DiNG in the middle. Diplomat down low. Stefan doing a great job with the TVP, and it looks like DiNG are trying to run away with the tails between their legs.
Yeah, this is about it. Kazna are closing on the net, and they are doing exactly what I expected them to do from the very offset. Suddenly picking up the pace here as Yizny does find Holtnik, and not soon for this world. Well, much longer for this world, should I say, is Rulesek, as now 3 remain for DiNG, and it's all but over. Elian on the cleanup, and some great work coming out individually and position-wise from Kazna. Theory crafting was spot on that time.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing really great tanks. As you saw, Meritorious said in the interview, Kazna crew like to impress with their tactics. They play a different version of World of Tanks than most teams. But sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. When it works, we're like, wow, this team's incredible. Yeah. We get really hyped about the way they play the game. But when it doesn't work, we're like, oh my god, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. They're terrible.
Oh, Mary, going for a dip.
Coward. Coward. Everyone who does that, by the way, you're scumbags. I'm just saying.
Mary is a scumbag. He's going for a drive as well.
He doesn't want to get killed by his former teammates.
Look at it. Oh, they even tried as well. But Hyber and Nexus going to join him at least in the in the sync. So there we go. DiNG picking not
DiNG,
picking
Kazna.
up. Yeah, I saw the
3-all.
live and I was like, that's not right. I'm ill, producer.
It's one apiece.
Don't mess with me. What are you doing? Oh, the admin. It's the admin's fault. It's that guy.
They don't listen to us, Lauren.
No,
It's just
they don't.
they just use the admin.
To be fair, though, it just makes it seem like I'm mad when I respond to the voices that are only in my
You
headset.
should never play. You
No.
should never play to anyone outside the studio. It's first rule
I
in
made an error.
broadcasting.
I made an error. But
It's like when you're in a
Yeah.
radio studio and you start talking to someone who, like makes no sense.
yeah, but then again, like I kind of like it when they talk in the, just in the studio sometimes.
Yeah, if you're watching the webcam, it's fair enough. But
Yeah, true. But then if they're not there, it's just like, why are you just talking to a wall?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're not wrong. There is a producer over that way who's in my head. He might be real, might not be. Not sure at this point.
Voice of God.
But he lies to me, and that's what we can take from this. But let's go back to the game, of course, because that was a 1-1 play coming through, and it seemed very decisive for both sides.
Yeah.
So when we saw DiNG win, it was like, better team here. But then actually when Kazna got into things and they tried it out their way, they picked up a very decisive win as well.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like the first round on Cliff, they just screwed up. Absolutely screwed
Yeah.
up. Diplomat did a great job in the artillery piece, but it would have been a whitewash if that hadn't happened. This time, everything just went right for them. I think DiNG were a bit too fast to the chase just to push straight across the middle, put the Batchats behind the rock. I think that probably lost them the game because they couldn't do anything there. And Elian, once he stayed patient, but once he started unloading his shells, he hit all of them. And that's 2k damage. Like it's very hard to come back from that. The 113s hit all their shells. T110 easily could just go forwards. And it was kind of that whole situation of a carrot on a stick. They all just went for using that T125. And that's what punished them. But it's 3 apiece. DiNG playing fantastically well.
Yep.
Really disciplined team right now. Kazna crew playing iffily, sometimes brilliantly, sometimes poorly.
Iffily.
I'll take that one and put it in the Oxford
All right.
Dictionary for you.
Thank you.
I'll crayon it in.
If you said it with enough conviction, then I probably would
I
believe
find that if
you.
I say anything with enough conviction, people just don't argue with it.
No, because they're like, am I being stupid and don't know a really normal word?
That
like,
is trick of the trade, by the way.
Don't know. Yeah, we know nothing. Like absolutely nothing. I don't.
If
I don't
you just
actually play
if you listen to people, especially on analysis desks, because they don't talk about games, and you just take away like
What they
inflection
actually
and stuff,
say, yeah.
what they actually say, you're like,
nothing.
you know nothing, Jon Snow.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Yeah, I've heard that Envy are aggressive. Solid analysis. Anyway, outside of flaming people, I'm probably going to have to work with pretty soon. Let's go back into game before I'm tired.
I'm not talking about
You
that.
were very non-specific. God almighty, what is wrong with me?
Yeah, but I have an excuse. I don't go on analysis desk because I haven't played the game on, at this level, 768, for a long time.
Yeah,
and
but
I
theory
admit that
crafting is
openly.
another thing, though, isn't it? Right? You can theory craft what these guys do, and you see.
Well,
it
I say
enough.
what they do, and I try and guess. That's as best as someone can do.
Yeah.
I don't admit that I'm the dog's bollocks, but I have a crack.
You said 2 funny words in one sentence. I will point these things out because I'm not in the mood to be a good host today. It's all gone to shit, guys. I might as well join in with Ollie if we're going to go down this road.
I
But
always say it
anyway,
by mistake, though. Come on.
that's not true at all.
Maybe.
Anyway, let's look at what we got here. Because DiNG are on the defending side, Kazna on the attack, and already bit of a stalemate. But we are going to see that 1390 tucking itself away in that very southeasterly corner of the very centre of this map, and it can be such a nuisance as well. So we saw some lovely bait plays actually surrounding that when I casted well the tanks prior to the sickening happening in Taipei. But what do we make of this so far?
Well, typically Kazna's been very bad at this one. They completely ignored this map for the whole of Season 1. They hate Himmelsdorf, but they've started playing it, and actually they've had some good results. I'm pretty sure the last time they played it, they won 2-0. Yeah, 71% win ratio on this one. I think they've got around 80% now. Just a couple of rounds missing here and there. So, I mean, DiNG, on the other hand, again, part of that Russian-speaking heritage on this map, been pretty strong, but they've played it a few times, but they haven't really won it any time. They've got 6 rounds, I believe, 0% win ratio. So, I mean, I think this was Kazna Crew's map. And I think they can go 2-0. I mean, just based on the last rounds, but then their special style they have is not necessarily particularly useful on Himmelsdorf. You've got to play logically, you've got to play down the line, and when you get those engagements, you've had to have made all the right steps, got all the information before then. That's why this map is a little bit slow. Murakar peak zone gets absolutely chunked down. What the hell was that? And Murakar just getting absolutely wrecked. You could see Alien, Nexus, Eurofish all started to poke towards that hill. And then they went unspotted. Murakar thought, hey, I can have a little cheeky peek here. 1, 2, 3. And even one of them must have missed because Murakar only has 1.1k HP. 390 average damage, 400 from the FE215Bs. That's 1,200. So Murakar pretty much blown everything. But he probably should have died in that position. I think Kazna maybe giving away the pooch in that one, if that's an expression.
I've just read what Steroids wrote in chat and it makes my head hurt really, really badly.
What?
Read. But anyway, I don't know. I'm not sure what Murakar was actually doing to peek out in the 39. I don't know what you could really achieve off the back of it. You know, maybe, okay, you get the information, but then again, you know, how much you walk away with. As Yezny gets spotted out as well, and this is actually quite a stalemate between these two, and it's almost like the pawns are still in play. I have started to see this game as a very similar element to chess on occasion.
It is chess with tanks.
You seem very adamant about that.
Well, I had this discussion with the Russian guys, and we came to the agreement that without first-person view, which is a massive boon to World of Tanks right now, well, not boon, I don't know what you call it, but it's a massive problem for the game, that you can't go first person, everyone knows it. It is chess because you don't rely on the action because you can't see what they're doing really. You have to rely on on what the teams are doing to bring the excitement in the game. Like what, you know, when you get to see you occasionally get to see a massive standout performances from teams in terms of individual play, but you miss 90% of them because you can't see what the player has done to achieve that success. And great start here by Kazna once again, take down the AMX 3090. Good damage towards Meritorious, 8-line under control.
And I'm surprised they allowed him that much room to breathe because literally there's no one backing up that side of the map. The 8-line was completely spared and great maneuvering coming out from Yezny in the end, finding that little bit of a gap to play through and putting himself in the best position possible. So very much enjoying that one as to how he came through with the goods. But now that opens up the map. Here we're going to see now DiNG with a chance to move off the back, keep himself fluid here, as they have lost out on one, but surely can predict where Kazna might want to go. So they're already retracting slightly towards the north here.
Yeah, they are starting to get off the north, but they've been found quite nicely on the side. Some damage going towards Nexus, of course. That T110, E5, good hold down. TVPs on the hill haven't really shown their card yet. Nexus has to be very careful about these shots. He could just find himself going low. Another shell going towards Rulzek, and yeah, it's going to happen every time. Easily be able to find the top of that copula on the FE215B, and yeah, he has to reverse back. So yeah, I mean, Cap's going to be on the way with Yezny and the AMX 3090, but Kazna are playing it pretty passively because they can't go across the middle as those tanks are sitting there. They don't want to be tracked, they don't want to receive too much HP damage, but still DiNG have to commit. The TVPs are going to be in the background, might be a problem there for Kazna's as Shockish doesn't get spotted. And he can't he can potentially one-shot, but 490 average damage. Alien spots him out. Yezny is not quite safe. You'll see the shell going onto the side of that MX 3090 with HE, no problem at all. But he's on his own, unsupported. Like, it could be a problem for him if that TVP comes off the hill, if Alien pushes in at the same time. But right now, the exchanges are going quite firmly in favor of DiNG.
They certainly are. DiNG are at the helm, which is a worrying sight if Kazna, again, had a good start. They forged the advantage, but then they've been really struggling to make much with it. And now look at Mary.
Oh, this is
Mary going on
DiNG.
it. Oh, this is brilliant stuff. Stefan's going to be caught with his pants down here. Good little snapback, though, but this should be Mary's if I've ever seen. He's going to go for the engagement. He gets a little bit of an unlucky play coming out. He needs one more shell, but Holtnick's in the back lines, supporting perfectly. And again, creating the surround. Kazna are now being smothered.
I don't understand how Stefan didn't get that last shell onto Meritorious. Meritorious should have fallen because he was down to a one-shot. It should be easy kill there for Kazna crew, but that's given Meritorious a nice way to roam around the map and be a bit of a lurker. And Kazna crew going for some sort of flex around here, trying to take down Holtnick as he charges away in that AMX 50B. Does find it, doesn't track him, and DiNG are still ahead in this game in terms of HP, but Meritorious is going to come off reload. Kazna crew trying to hold the 8-line, but of course that AMX 50B a better reload. It's Vetso trying to find the back, bounces that first shell. That's thanks to the brilliant armor and the IS-7, and Vetso obviously at a massive disadvantage, not even scratching that IS-7.
Finally, Eurofish is there, but this is uncoordinated, but Shockish might overcommit now.
Diplomat in the background though.
Diplomat could save him here. They're going to go blow for blow at this point now. Diplomat comes around. absolutely set up on this one. He can get some brilliant damage down. Look at this. Shell by shell by shell, shredding down Kazna crew. Shokish can now come back into the fray. He's got the shell to make, delivers it. Eurofish goes down. Now sure, DiNG are low, but Kazna are dwindling in numbers, down to 4 players, and Vetso just got melted again, backing away. Shokish can be the closer on this one. He's got the shell to make. He's going to get it as well. The last 3 standing for Kazna are going to be shaking their heads here, because at the moment they're not in a great position.
Yeah, I think Vetso should have just pushed around that corner with I think it was Elian, not sure exactly who it was, and just taking down that FB. But yeah, this is going all the way of DiNG. I mean, they're holding on so well. Kazna crew trying to fight from every single angle, but Hulknik, Diplomat, Meritorious, so many tanks on 1 HP or on low HP, and it's still not going to be enough. Elian's going to just get out of this battle. He's the last round remaining in the middle of the courtyard, and doesn't matter. 5 tanks for DiNG on 1 shots, not enough connections for Kazna crew, and it puts DiNG on match point.
How are Kazna doing this time and time again? Literally, brilliant initial play to get the advantage. They play to get the 1390 down to remove some of the vision away from the map. They get some control. They start making the plays off it, and then it just falls apart. I've never seen anyone literally get an advantage in a game of chess and say, well, I kind of liked it, but let me just throw the board out the window, because why not? Because that might be a great way to win. I don't know where the logic goes. Like, literally, at what point do they go, well, we did really well here, let's ignore that? Like, I don't get it. What's happened to this team? Yeah,
I mean, they got the AMX 1390 down, but they lost an AMX 50B. Really good rotation with the AMX 50B and Meritorious in the back chat. I think Stefan kind of screwed up his mouse click on that last shell because the 50B was slightly out of position. I'm not sure exactly who it was, but Stefan had the opportunity to kill that back chat, and that might have...
Wasn't it Mary? Was it Mary?
Yeah. But there was another 50B somewhere. I'm not sure exactly who it was, but yeah, I mean, that should have been 1-for-1 exchange. That might have been a totally different game, but yeah, I mean, Diplomat came around the corner. I think Kazna thought that Diplomat was actually supporting Shokish there in the IS-7, but Vetso had gone forwards, not spotted anyone, so they should have seen that, and it should have just been the FE215B to push around the corner with Vetso. Vetso would have come with free load. You can kill that IS-7, you can kill Diplomat, but they didn't. It was them to push back and try and from a different angle. So yeah, really well held by DiNG. I mean, they were, again, really far back in this game. Lost an MX 1390, lost the exchanges at the beginning, but not quite enough to finish this one off. And again, DiNG on match point, thanks to Kazna crew playing, just having some issues on this map, clearly. But they get to play the easier side now, so that's always something. And it was Eurofish who should have pushed around the corner, I think.
Yes. So, another one just seemingly biting the dust here. And I don't know, if I was Kazna, I'd be tilted as hell, if I'm honest, because you're frustrated because you can do better. If for a team like DiNG, okay, even if they lose some games, they've got some big names in there, but you're like, well, we've been around a while, but there's still some new players here, we're still sorting some stuff out. There's a little bit of potential, sure, but no one's got this big reputation to us. Whereas Kazna by now, even when they're big players, are the ones getting caught out, and they're just playing badly as a collective. It's like, where's the Kazna crew gone? Where you'd always have one of the two, right? You'd always have either, maybe Elian being like a superstar. They might not get the win, but you'd be like, wow, this guy's playing super good here. Or, or Vetso having these massive damage-dealing rounds where you think, oh, if only they had a little bit of coordination.
Yeah.
Then sometimes they'd fall back and actually have this where Hyber's calls were spot on. You'd have these brilliant plays of, perfect balance between aggression and just, real patience. But now it seems like they can't find that balance between any of it. And I'm worried for the sake of this team. So hopefully, as we wait for the guys to get back into lobby, I think one of them just had a couple of connection issues while we do wait. I hope for their sakes there's something more there for them, and this isn't going to be a common trend.
Yeah. I mean, I think their ideas have been right, the execution has been wrong, and I think DiNG has just played, they've made the right calls. They've been down, but then they've made the right calls at that point. Their timing has been impeccable. And we'll be able to go in game. Basically, last chance saloon for Kazna crew. They need to win the next 2 rounds. I mean, the 1 point, you have to rely on winning against Wombats, and I said Wombats, even though they lost today, are the better team than DiNG.
Yeah, you can't depend on victories against those guys. They're a very hard team to get anywhere near dependable on. Whether losing or winning against them, you don't know what you're coming up against. So now taking stock of this lineup, Ollie, is this something safe that Kazna can work with, or is nothing safe at this point?
I don't think it's about the lineup on this one. I mean, we very rarely see Himmelsdorf down to lineups.
True.
You pick a 110E3, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But other than that, it's pretty normal stuff. You've got the Waffentrager and the T110E3 from Diplomat, as I mentioned. So pretty heavy stuff. And Kazna crew have got kind of played into that with the double T110, T10. We'll have to see if that works out. Obviously, the the Russian Russian tier 9 heavy.
Yep.
Sometimes works out, sometimes doesn't. Haven't seen it do particularly great damage so far, but yeah, at the moment, Kazna need to win this round. If really they do need to win it, like they put themselves at such an awkward position as they don't, and they are gambling straight away, just pushing up towards the hill. And we have to see exactly who gets up there first. Obviously, DiNG starts on the hill. The spawn is just below it.
Yeah.
Well, Kazna crew have to drive another 200-300 meters.
I haven't seen a fight on the hill in a long time now. I don't know if Kazna crew's just thinking, screw it, guys, let's just go to our demise. But yeah, if they actually go up this while we've got the high ground being held by like the likes of Rules and Murakami, you're going to be in some real trouble here. And whoever gets these first couple of spots and gets the full picture of the information is going to have so much to work with.
Well, I feel like it's going to be interesting. I mean, if Yisny just spots with that T10, it might cause DiNG to come down the corner, and it actually is going to be there. And there's actually quite a few tanks there from behind. Yisny receives a lot, but Ilian and Nexus can now peek around the corner. Some good damage, some misses actually coming out. Nexus gets the better of, and that shouldn't happen. I mean, at the end of the day, Kazna crew were the stationary tanks. They're the ones who should have done the damage, and now DiNG can just come around.
Oh, this is not going well. DiNG are looking deadly, but they're not getting the damage done. Look at Rules. Absolutely hammered down. He might just be the sacrificial carcass for his team to utilize as cover at this point, but there we go. Finally, the damage starts rolling in, and Kazna are not looking good. This could be all but over, bearing in mind 4 rounds is a big mark for DiNG to be on, and Murakami is going on the split. He's looking for the opportunity to find Hyber, maybe pulling him away from this, and now HP starting to dwindle. DiNG starting to look good in this one. Kazna on the back foot, and again, Ilian falls.
Look how many great shells are actually going to come down. Vetzo's from behind, though. He's going to find Hultnik, no problem at all. Actually, Hultnik's going to get around the corner, and that's not good for Kazna crew. They are really down and out in this game. The AMX-50Bs are off reeler. That's going to be the last saving grace for Kazna crew if they can stay alive. They have retreated back, got themselves into defensive positions. Yisny's going to come off the hill. He's going to find Hultnik, no problem at all. Murakami, first shell doesn't actually connect to Murakami. He has to start doing the damage. He's got 1 shell to make, and Murakami has gone safe. Kazna crew, it's a 4 versus 6 situation, 3 versus 6, and it's looking very bad news for them.
Vetso, with the weight of the world on his shoulders, did everything he could, but this may have been gone just a little bit too far, as Eurofish and Stefan are the last 2 alive, and this has been a dire display again from Kazna. If you're a fan, your heart, well, maybe broken, and your head will be certainly in your hands, as Eurofish is your last man to be trying to make a stand in this sort of position as already Stefan did fall, and Vetso, just that touch too late, just that second away from being something phenomenal. Just has to back away and deal with this one.
Yeah, he didn't do enough damage to make up for the fact that Kazna crew actually all sitting, took so much damage at the beginning. I mean, they were the ones who were stationary. Obviously, they had to peek around the corners. The GGs are already coming out, and this has been a troublesome match for Kazna. I mean, this is the kind of match that disbands teams. They were so good at the beginning. They made so many great plays, and it's simply not enough. The big, obvious move from DiNG has really worked out well.
And Vetso just going to go and face the music. No, going for a little bit of a swim. He knows that this one's all but done. And there we have it. DiNG do pick up the victory, and Kazna, I don't know what to say about you guys anymore. You know, you won hearts and minds last season and at the start of this one, but now it's certainly going to turn around. Talk me through some of the issues that we're seeing here being predominant throughout these maps, because it doesn't seem just like, okay, they're a little bit weak on one map. They aren't, fantastic on your Himmelsdorf. Let's be honest, there has been some core problems, but it feels as though there's been team issues that have spanned across these maps. What's standing out to you here, among Kazna that we didn't maybe see at the start of this season?
Well, I think there's just team synchronization issues. I mean, again, they have the right tactics, 100%. Their tactics are correct. The way they start the round without any pressure on is right, and then it's at some point where things just start going badly for them. I mean, that was the only round which we saw basically where it went bad from the start, where they peeked around the corners, they didn't do enough damage on the peaks, and even though DiNG were on the move down the hill, all tanks were there, and they just mouse buttoned left straight onto the FE215Bs. Kazna couldn't get out that position. Ilian peaked again, got killed on the move in the FE215B. And, they lost. I think if Ilian had stayed alive, it would have been a different game. That U100 really had a standout performance. And Vetso from behind in the bat chat was just not there quickly enough. He just wasn't there. He couldn't get in there faster, but wasn't there quickly enough. And Kazna made the right decision. They knew that DiNG would come off the hill. But they just didn't do the damage. And it was great play by DiNG just to be able to hit all the shells on the move they needed to hit. And, no points at all for Kazna crew. 0 points. DiNG now put themselves into second or third right now, tied with Oops.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean,
Bloody hell.
so it's right now. Oops. It's first of all it's Tornado Rocks
Tornado
on
Rocks.
first, then it's Oops / DiNG. Wombats on tanks. Kazna crew and KB. That's what it is right now. So there's not really that much changes apart from the shuffle at the top. People who can come in right now, KB can come in, Utopia can come in. You know, that's it's not good news for Kazna crew. But unless they win the game against Wombats, which is even more unlikely than winning against DiNG, they've made it hard.
They really have. This is the problem when you open up like even just a small chance for other teams to find their route in. That teams will go, guys, we've still got a real shot at this. Let's actually hammer it down. Utopia's been playing well. KB's been playing well. There's a lot to be seen from those teams. And if you do check it out for yourselves, obviously on the on our main page, WGLEU.net, just check it out for yourselves. Look at the rankings. You can see how close it is. Anyone sitting around like from probably about 20 to at lowest maybe 14. There is room to breathe in that. There is room to catch up and change. So keep your eyes on that and check out the rankings. But Melly, the people at home, they had faith. They had faith in Kazna. Maybe not as much as normal, but they had faith.
I would say, 58%, that's how the vote ended. 8% favor advantage for Kazna crew, which is an all-time low this season, actually.
Jeez.
Because that vote for Kazna crew is never in those numbers. We always experience something above the 7% marker. And also, Angel of Awe in Twitch chat said, I'm amazed that DiNG managed to recover every round because Kazna should have won every round because of their advantage. And also, I actually had something else. Kazna seems so different now from Ekta. And I mean, that's absolutely right. I was wearing my Kazna hoodie this morning. Like,
Dirty
I
sellout.
don't have one.
Do you know, I don't have one. Do you know
Hoping-
that?
Steven
That's
has
not
one.
cool.
It doesn't
Yeah.
even work at ESL.
Steven doesn't even work. Let's not even add. Let's just cut that sentence in half. Let's be real here. Why'd you get the freebies? What's this? What's this, Melly?
oh, come on, you get enough stuff. Mrs. I have my own sweets shop upstairs.
That's because. Shut up.
Look.
I'm going back to my
Fanarenas.
cough suite. Screw you guys. Carry on.
But yes, people, the next vote is online, so head over to facebook.com/WGLEU for your last time of the night, or for your last chance of tonight getting one of those 3 bonus codes which are online. And I actually can't speak anymore, so hashtag WGLEU on Twitter.
Well, speaking
Also live updates.
of not being able to, speak, one of my real life friends is watching the show, so that's terrifying for one. And she said, "Ifly is not a word." She was not impressed. So Ollie, you've let my friend down. You let
Really?
all of us down.
I think you should. She's Oxford Dictionary, that is she?
She
There's
is not
like-
an Oxford dictionary, but I'm just checking.
No,
that,
but
it's
you've got
always
like
good.
words like swag in there. Why can't Ifly be in there?
Is
For
it
me, that
officially
seems
in there
unfair.
now?
Iffy.
Yeah, it is in there.
Iffy.
Oh, that's gross.
There's
I have a
iffy.
lozenger in now that's making me not feel.
I feel like if you add more letters to a word, it makes them more significant.
You're
I
just
don't
becoming
care.
German. That's basically you're going full.
That's just
German.
adding more
Let's
words
call
to
it
words.
neologism, like the word new words.
big
Basically making up new words.
That's
It's
kinda
called
like
neologism is.
sadomasochism with
Mechanism.
with language.
Well, to be fair though, Mitch just uses big words. I think he's like, when you like get like a dictionary or something, you like go through it,
Thesaurus.
and he just tries to find like one big word. It's like, okay, I'm going to say this. No one else will understand ever,
No.
but no one will ever call me out on it because, like as you said, you say it with enough conviction, people actually think you're right,
True.
which the vast majority of the time we're not. However, the one thing we are right about is there's one more game to go today, and it's going to be a good one as well. There's a lot to be seen from these teams. We've seen 2 great games to start with, but what do you make of this final matchup?
Well, Strong TM are firmly down at the bottom of that leader table. Not a single win, no tiebreaker, no points, no nothing. Out of range, obviously that win against Tornado Rocks last week. They've been getting so much better. I feel like they could be a top 6 team, top 4 team. They did actually start the season well. So in my opinion, this is going to be more one-sided towards OR.
Well, we're going to find out very soon. Guys, do stay tuned. We'll be back after the break.